This is the trend. You get all over in Makkah. All the masajids operate like that. So when you study there, you come back with that trend. So you don't come with a solution. The ulama that's coming, they don't come with a solution. They come with a service they want to render, and they try to figure out what is the limitations of their services and what they get paid for, and they just stay in the ambit of what they're doing. You understand? Whereas the borders is there, but you can cross the line as long as it's in the perimeters within Islam. But you must be interactive, and this you see in Medina. You see it in the life of the Prophet in Medina. Right? There's one thing that stood out in the life of the Prophet in Medina. One of the things that is supposed to be noted is that in Makkah he was a subservient individual, a member of society. He was subservient to the people. So if the people push him, he will stand still and he will not retaliate. Right? So it's so almost like he is nothing. So he behaved like he had impact with the people that was connected to him. He taught them, he gave them everything. But when the tyrants or the people of the city now is pressing on him, he would just like, okay. He would not like voice himself or retaliate against it or do something, And that is 13 years, as if this man is a nothing. Then, at the 13th year when he went to Medina, his portfolio changes from nothing to a prime minister of a country, of a city. You understand? So who made that change? A pauper stays a pauper, you understand? Even if you give him a garment of stature, he will just look different, but if he speaks, he still speaks stupid stuff, you understand? Or irrelevant stuff, or you understand? But our Nabi Sallam changes from being not a pauper, but something that somebody's not recognized, right, amongst the general public, and it did not make any impact on the people in terms of strategic, putting things economically in place, socially in place, nothing. Right? No, nothing. He's just teaching. Do you know this? Do you know about God? It is about God. All that they teach. And the people that became Muslim, he impacted. They became strong and they loved him. But the rest of the public, he couldn't break them, he couldn't do nothing. You understand? And with this, at the end of the day, he moved to Medina, and Medina is like a 360. And he became this like man that stands tall. And now he's not only the prime minister of the city of Medina. I call him the prime minister because he was the head of state, you understand? I think that's the best word to say, the head of state. It's more appropriate to say that. The head of state he was the head of state. He then managed socially to fix the social status of Medina. The economic status is the fix of Medina. You know? Every situation that was in the slum, he snatched it out and he gave commands, and he became the head of the army. He gave instructions. He trained people in warfare. He showed them how to fight. You understand? And he changed from this to that. And this is how important Medina is for us as a Muslim Ummah. I'm not saying don't look at Makkah. Look at Medina. Not now, in the time of the Prophet. Because now all of a sudden he is in Medina, and now he can play that role that he's supposed to be within the community. And now he became the most visible person in society. You need him, he's there. Something happened, he's the first on the scene. Right? Whatever needs to be done, he will do it. He will take the work out of your hands. And he does that from day one when he arrived there. Now, he's still on his way now. I'm just preparing you what Medina is like. Medina is still, Nabi is still on his way. Right? For those who are here, we're just speaking about Medina because that is your first destination of travel for those who are doing Medina first. So Nabi said, Medina is like this. Medina consists of a whole lot of tribes. From amongst the tribes, all of them became Muslim. Right? And I explained also how easy it was for them to become Muslim. the population of Medina grew so rapidly, so quickly, it grew quicker than the amount of people that embraced Islam in Mecca. Right? And the reason why is because the people that were staying in Medina was more Muslim in terms of the Jewish faith than what the pagans of Mecca was. More unlettered, un-Islamic, they had no God. Right? So it was very easy. Like for example, when the first person came into Medina and he started preaching, Mu'adh ibn Jabal, when he came into Medina and started preaching, the people felt like this guy's a threat. We must get rid of him. So they planned, So Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, he then decided he's gonna put somebody up to get rid of this guy. Right? Because he now sees the people is becoming Muslim. But in the first month there was 100 Muslims. So this person sent somebody to Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. He said, listen, brother, we don't want you here. You need to leave. You're creating havoc in our Sa'd. So this Sa'd ibn Mu'adh says, I will leave, no problem. You see, no resistance. No resistance. Right? He said, I will leave, no problem. You want me to leave? I will leave. Right? I just want one thing from you, then I will leave. If you still want me to leave, I'll leave. So what do you want from me? Say, I just want you to listen to me. If you still want me to leave, then I will leave. So we decided, he started speaking to him. It's in Arabic, right? It's Arabic. For us, because it's Arabic, we think the guy recites. But it's a conversation actually. Right? So after he decided, after he started speaking, within the first 30 seconds of his speech, the person that he's speaking to, who's now telling him to leave, he say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammad Rasulullah. Wow. Now this guy was told to tell him to leave. Right? Now he must report back to the guy that sent him. And he was sent by Sa'd ibn Mu'adh. He goes back to Sa'd, he says, Sa'd, I think you must go speak to this guy. Sa'd says, okay, let me go speak. Sa'd went to the guy and said, listen here, we want you to leave. He said, no problem, I will leave. I will leave, no problem. Right? Will you listen to me? Then I'll leave. If you still want me to leave after you listen to me, then I'll leave. He said, I'll listen to you, but after that, please just leave. I said, okay. He started speaking again. He started his speech exactly the way he started his speech with the other gentleman. He didn't even come to say what he came to say. He just started his speech. You know, when you start the speech, you praise Allah first, then you praise our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and then you say, right? He just praised Allah and he praised his Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? And when the moment he recited his Shahada, the guy that was asking him, he recited his Shahada also. So he's also Muslim. Now I'll tell you what he said, then you can count, you can time me how long it takes me to say this. He says, Innal hamdan lillah. All praises to God. Nahmaduhu. I praise him. Wa nasta'inuhu, and I seek help from him. Wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina, and I seek help from him against all evil that emanates from myself. Wa min sayyiati a'malina, and from bad that come from my action. Man yahdillahu fala mudilla lahu, whomever Allah guide, nobody can lead astray. Wa man yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu, and whomsoever Allah leads astray, nobody can guide. And then he says, this guy, the speaker says, Ashhadu an la ilaha. When he says Ashhadu an la ilaha, the other guy says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Wa anna Muhammad Rasulullah. The other guy says, Wa ashhadu anna, the guy's Muslim. You understand? So it was very easy for the people of Medina to cross flows. It's for them, it wasn't a matter of letting go. It was a matter of stepping up. I think that's the best word. And that's how you must see the Christians and the Jews, right? You must change your thinking of them. It's not for them to let him go. It's for them to step up. The moment you look at it this way, your approach will also change to them. Because your approach causes people to block. The moment you start treating people differently, they block you. They say, okay, I don't fit in this guy's conversation. We do it with each other, Jamaat. We do it with each other. When you go to your aunties, it's very, anti you. With the first greet, you will know. Sometimes you just say, let me just do the dues. Assalamu alaikum, assalamu alaikum, assalamu. And then you go back in your corner, right? That is how life is. So the reality of it is that we need to change our approach. Then you open the doors. We're shutting the doors by ourselves. And we have a lot of doors around us. Right? And we have sometimes a choice to whom we must open certain doors and to whom is allowed to be into certain spaces of us. And this is the sad thing. So coming back to the concept. So Medina is now, there's a lot of Muslims, but not a lot yet. Not that much. You understand? But they are now there. Right? So the people that is Muslim is Jewish tribes that turned over to Islam. Jewish clans. That is, they're not Muslim now. And these clans, right, is still living under the previous dispensation where there was territorial boundaries and restrictions and laws for crossing the lands. That's still there. But then there was non-Muslim Jewish people. Right? That is still there. They didn't become Muslim. So now what happens is our Nabi is entering into Medina, and now our Nabi's visitation to Medina wasn't a visit, it was a rulership. So due to that, their mission is either to accept the man or to reject the man. So if you want to reject the man, you must get rid of him. But by getting rid of him or wanting to get rid of him doesn't mean you must not participate. And this is the area of discussion that we need to understand. The area of discussion is important for us to understand that as a member of society, participation is extremely important. We are in a dilemma in regards to that. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is now coming to Medina. Medina is infested with Jews, and from the Jews became Muslim, and from the people that is there is Muhajirin, and the Muhajirin is already Muslim, and they have a different intention with our Nabi. So each one of the people that is there is got a focusing on what they focus. It's important for us to understand. Like a teacher, everybody sees the teacher, but the teacher sees to see people. Just remember that. So our Nabi is the main man, everybody sees him, but he sees a lot of people. So you must make sense of what you see within a short period of time, and act in such a way that is not going to become offensive within his behavior towards the people that is around him, because he's not coming for the Muslims. The invitation was open for him to come to Yathrib and fix Yathrib. Can you see the behavior? Now, our society must understand that, and I'm using this platform not to say that you don't know. I know we've got intellectuals sitting here. I know all of you are much learned than me. But what I'm saying here in Jamaatul Muslimin, if you don't see the bigger picture, you will never know what your purpose is in life. Because every person that sees the bigger picture would want to use everyone around him to derail the mission of what it is and to be. In other words, if this is the Imam that is supposed to be our Imam as our leader, but this is a person that he hasn't got the knowledge, but he's got the vision, he sees what's happening. But he's got the counter proposal against this Imam. He is the person that will use the other public in order to make this man's life hell. You understand? And you get a lot of them. For many a reason, a lot of people will label those people who gives the Imams life hell, will label that person, those people. It's not important to label the people. Just remember, each one of us have an intention. We must understand that your intention, does it resonate with Allah? What does Allah have for us? What is it all about? And therefore, every action that we make as an individual must be based on asking Allah for guidance in the matter. So, the Muhajirin, they're waiting for their master. Who's their master? Rasulullah. The Muhajirin is people of Makkah. Our hero is coming, our master. They have no reservations. Nothing at all. Just our man is here. And we're looking forward for the next stage of his life and with us. Next group, Ansar. Who's they? They are the people of Medina. They are the people that embrace Islam, and they are now Islam plus minus 4 years, maximum 4 years. What do they see? They see their master coming also, but intentively wanting this man to fix our society. So they're looking at that. Now, you get the Jews. Jews also there. They see this man as a threat. Firstly, they see him, what's he coming with? If he's coming with good, we're going to embrace him. If he's coming with evil, we're going to get rid of him. So it's either a threat or we're hoping to get some result. You see, not all of them had bad intentions with our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Not all the Jews had any. Just please, you must move with that. You must always remember, people will not have a good opinion of you for as long as they haven't interacted with you. And likewise, you will never have a good opinion about no one until you've met the person. And you've interacted and dealt with that person in a certain way, and then you will start changing your attitude. And therefore, I say, this is my opinion, right? You don't have to believe me. My opinion never counts. Right? Only if I'm any value to you. Any person's opinion to me, I in the first time when I made the statement, I made it like this, so you must forgive me if it sounds very blunt. Any person's opinion in my head is like a stain on the wall. Now I changed it recently. I said, any person's opinion is like the paint on the wall, not the stain on the wall. It means the same thing, but the paint shines better than the stain, you know? Because, why am I saying it's a stain on the wall? If you have an opinion of something today, right now that you're putting the stain on the wall, now you meet another person and he comes and explains to you what's happening. What happened to that opinion? It's gone. So that stain on the wall, you take a brush over it, it is gone. So now I'm saying it's like the paint on the wall, because holistically it became you, your opinion became you. Right? So this laparang, it is grey, next laparang it is what color? Green. So our opinion has been changed. Can you understand what I'm saying now? So don't keep a gun against somebody's opinion. And don't try to die too strong on your opinion. Because you just need another slim man on for your toon. Then he changed it for you. And I have changed thousands of people's opinions. Their opinions. A lot. And I'm not even that learned. I'm not even that intelligent. You understand? You understand what I'm saying now? I'm, in my experience of life, you understand? I changed the husband's opinion about his wife and the wife's opinion about the husband. Because before they met me, they wanted to kill each other. You understand? And just this morning I was at the nikah, just to give you an understanding. And I said to I translated the verse in the Quran. It was like funny for the people, right? I hope you're going to see the funniness. So I recited the verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. Oh, you believe? When you speak, be sadid. Right? And I said in this analysis I made from the verse, I said, when you get married, you know, or when you have a relationship, the one thing that carries the relationship is conversation. Isn't it so? Conversation. If you're married, there's conversation. If you have a friend, the conversation, you come to the person, it's not about, entertainment much, but conversations. Ram, how are you? How was the weekend? Oh, how's the children? Oh, are they doing this? It's conversation. You can speak until, the husband's in the car, the wife is still speaking there, but it's conversation. So I said that is relationships, right? Marriage is about conversation. Marriage is not about not having conversation. So if you get married, and you get married today, inshallah, and you're 20 years old, right? Oh, I wish I was 20 years old. And inshallah, Allah blesses marriage to last another 30 years. You must have conversation for 30 years. You mustn't speak yourself done in the first 10 years. So therefore, the husband will go to the kitchen and he will ask the wife, where's the sugar? And the wife will think, Ya Allah, play JE. But he wants to have conversation. Because the house was quiet. And he's standing in the kitchen alone. And he'll make 2 cups of tea. And he just wants to have conversation this way, you know. Right? Now, sweetie pie. Now, where's the tea bags? Like a simple conversation, right? We have already planned this weekend, inshallah, we're going to go to George. Next weekend, for example. Within this week, the husband will always ask questions about, what are we doing this weekend again? What are we leaving again? Are we taking the children with again? Your wife will say, but I told this only for the 2 of us. Don't you register? Can you understand? Jamaat has nothing to do with the fact that you didn't register. It's conversation.
Working on the wife's nerves.
It's not like that. It's conversation. So therefore, if we say, just entertain him, yes, my darling, it's so true. It's next to the milk. Right? The powder milk on the shelf there, you see there, that is sugar, is that
I'll say, just leave it, I'll make it myself.
You don't have to be tortured with a tea.
All that questions, too many questions.
You understand? It's conversation. And this is life. You understand? This is life. Now, men, when they're together, they don't care. You know, you say the same story over and over. You know how many people tell me the same story over and over? 10 times the same story. I say, yeah. Because it's conversation. Because others would go on to kick it, because you got bad, no. You're a banana. Lost. Can you understand? So the essence of the story here is that life is about growth, and with growth you learn and expound on certain matters, inshallah. So Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is now having these diverse people waiting for him in Medina, and he needs to make an impact on them on first track. First impressions last the longest time. So it's very important. So you must just imagine, after a journey like that, within the same hour, things is rapidly happening like this. It rushes you. So one out of bounds move, it kills the whole vibe. Right? The Jews, they knew, some of them said, we're gonna check it out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we're gonna give him a time for his life. So now Nabi comes in. The important thing that what I want to bring across in the previous conversation is that the Jews, all of them were there. There was no one that decided he's not going to be at the meeting of the Rasul the day when he entered in Medina. And this is what I want to share with you. As a Muslim, Jamaat Muslimin, I'm not a politician, and I'm not so intellectual like the people of certain organizations in the Western Cape. But it's one thing I've learned in life. By not participating, you don't do yourself a favor. In any arena of life, particularly in the political arena. Right? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? I say, Allah's my guide, and Allah's going to guide me. So before I'm going to do whatever I need to do, I'm going to sit on that Muslim and ask Allah to guide me. But I'm not going to say I'm not going to be part of this thing. Right? Why am I saying this? At our Nabi's arrival, he was requested to be politically active in Medina, wasn't he? Was he asked to be a posy? Just standing there and look nice? Did other people run the country for him and he was just watching them doing it? No. He was asked to be a political activist in Medina, fixing the economy of Medina in every arena of it, So if he was such a religious person, you could have said, no, I'm not a politician, I'm not going to participate in stuff like this. Huh? Can you understand what I'm saying now? So the first person that participated politically was Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then every individual that was present at the time participated from all denominations, whether it was a Muslim, a Christian, or a Jew. Class, he was there. I want to be part of this. And there were certain Sahabis that had certain portfolios to do, and they did it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a very strong message that must come out. I have to let it come out, because why? You can't hold ransom over a few people's ignorance over the matter of life. It's a matter of life, Jamaat. We are South Africans. First thing, when our Nabi left Makkah, Makkah didn't treat him well for 13 years. But what did he have for the city? He had love for the city. Secondly, when the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came into Medina, he decided he's going to be politically active in Medina. Right? And therefore, all the people that was with him in Medina was actively involved in the development of Medina to the extent that our Nabi brought it at the end of his life. So now Nabi came in, and with his entry, they recited the famous Qasidah that they recited. We all know the one, Tala al-Badr alayna. So every day for a week, they went out and checked on the horizon whether nobody's coming. And at the last moment they saw, the last day of the almost 8 days, 9 days, they saw something appears on the horizon, and they saw our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam with Abu Bakr, with the guide's name, I'm going to say it to you quickly, Abdullah ibn Urayqid. That was the name of the guide, right? With a camel, guided them into Medina, and as they came into Medina, they recited, and very excitingly recited the Qasidah, which is called the Tal'a al-Qasidah, which means the full moon has risen over us. Tal'a al-Badru alayna. So what it meant, when they said the full moon, what was they were referring to? They referred to Rasulullah, but Rasulullah being the light at night. The full moon is light in the night. And you haven't been in the desert in the full moon night. You must try that, inshallah. Full moon is the 50th somewhere day of the Islamic calendar day. Inshallah, you go out, inshallah, and you will see that your body, yourself will have shadow on the night of a full moon. Therefore, some people always prefer to travel during that time of the months, so that they can know at least from the 14th to the 15th to the 16th to the 17th to the 18th, you will have some light at night, because the Arabs only traveled at night, inshallah. And the Thaniyatul Wada is the area, and they started chanting, welcoming our Nabi, and they were very happy. Our Nabi met the Muhajirin, hugged them, kissed them, right? Loved them, have conversation. They were more into what our Nabi had for them. In other words, how's my mom, how's my dad, in Makkah, how's my auntie, is this one still alive? That is how people carried news. So for the first sector was that. Then the Ansar was there. MashaAllah, ahlan wa sahlan. And they made him tea, drink, everything, made him welcome, right? And now, our Nabi has learned that through the 4 years, the Muslim population in Medina has grown so much that he felt the need to do X, Y, and Z. Right on? And then he realized also, within the conversation, that the Muslim population in Medina has grown, but the Muslims that came from Makkah, for the duration that they were here for 4 years, is still not stable. They're unstable, which means they're living, in places where they don't know where they're going to sleep tonight. They don't know where they're going to sleep tonight. They don't know if they're going to have food tonight. Most of the time they'll sleep under trees, right? And all those kind of things. So those are the two major analyses I've made in the first arrival. So the first day, his mind was working, speeding up, what's happening, right? And when he discovered what happened, he then decided to do two major things. And the one thing was, he built a masjid. He built a masjid, which now we all know that masjid's name is the Mosque of Quba, right? And then the other thing he did was, يَتَآخَى بَيْنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَأَنصَارِ. He made a brotherhood pact between the Ansar and the Muhajirin. So I'm going to speak first of the masjid, right? And this was basically just based on the concept of the activities that went on in Medina whilst our Nabi was in Mecca. And he saw the population. Remember, he's not looking at the Meccans. The Meccans, you already Muslim. And they were the lowest amount of people. The bulk of them that's there is Muslim. Right? And you were active. Right? And due to their activities, made them grow like that. So therefore, he built the masjid. And as he was encouraging them to build the masjid, he himself started carrying blocks and bricks to the walls in order to. And then Sahabis came to him and said, Ya Rasulullah, please, you relax. You just came from a journey. We want you to relax. And Nabi says, no. You go fetch your own stone, and I will take mine. The more hands it is, inshallah, better it is for us. And he carried this brick towards the masjid. And on that note, also our Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned in the hadith, he says, Man bana lillahi masjidan bana Allahu lahu baytan fil jannah. Whosoever built a house on earth for Allah, Allah will build for him a house in Jannah. Whosoever built a house on earth for Allah, like a baytan, masjidan, bana Allahu lahu baytan fil Jannah. Allah will build for that person a house in Jannah. Now imagine, you are only carrying 2 bricks, 3 bricks, 4 bricks, or you only build 1 wall, but Allah will give you a full house. Allah will not say, okay, jy het 1 muur gebou, so 1 wall is for you. You must build this yourself. No, he built you a full house in Jannah. Amin. Now the next thing is يَتَآخَى بَيْنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ. Now what he has ascertained is that the Ansar was good. The Ansar did good. They did excellent. But it did not solve the problem 100%. 100% in the sense of stability. You know, the comfort of life is to know where you're going to sleep tonight. Doesn't matter if you're going to sleep in Hockey. The fact that you know you're sleeping somewhere tonight, that is important. The comfort of life is to know that you got something to eat tonight. If you don't have food tonight, you will sleep hungry. Right? There was companions that continuously never had food, and one such companion is Abu Huraira. You know Abu Huraira? He was one person who deliberately gave up life in terms of acquiring material stuff. He gave up that just to be in the presence of our Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So therefore he never had food by himself. He met our Nabi in the last 2 years of our Nabi's life. Versus Abu Bakr, he knew our Nabi from the beginning of our Nabi's revelation, even before that. He met our Nabi in the last 2 years of our Nabi's life, but he recorded the most prophetic sayings than any of the people that lived with our Nabi for 23 years. Can you see why Abu Huraira? How did he manage to do that? It's because he gave up on acquiring the earthly acquirings in order to be in the company of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And it's proven like that because the day when our Prophet died and days thereafter, he then restructured his life because there was no need, the Prophet was no longer